And this is Reclaiming Your Health.
Hey, how are you all doing? It's C.C. Péan with Reclaiming Your Health. I am so excited. Yes, Shauna, here we go. I'm so excited about this recipe. Now, before we get started, I really want to engage you all this evening. I want you to ask questions. I want this to be like a really informative learning session. This is such an amazing recipe. And what's so amazing about it is that we have found a way to mimic the texture, the flavor, the look of chicken from Mother Nature. No packaged and processed veggie meat. It is straight up a vegetable from the earth, fungus from the earth. Now, the reason this is so important to me is I am a big proponent of not eating a lot of processed and preservative-packed foods. And a lot of people that are transitioning into a vegan lifestyle, oftentimes they get caught up because it's convenient, they don't know what to eat, so they start buying all this packaged stuff, which is good in moderation, but that should not be the end of the road for you. This should be the middle of the road when you're eating packaged and processed things. You need to work towards eating things as close to its natural state as possible. And so this evening, we are going to make, y'all are not ready for this. This evening, y'all don't hear me though. This evening, we are going to make a veganized version of Popeye's crack chicken. You know that chicken that people were lining up, jumping over counters, punching people in the face, doing all kinds of craziness? We have got a non-violent, veganized Popeye's chicken sandwich. Okay, so let me say first that in this recipe, one of the things that's important is after you batter this chicken, you need to let it rest, okay? So if you all are cooking along with me this evening, you're gonna have to wait about a good 30 minutes before you fry it. Now you can fry it right away if you want to, but the best way to get all those nooks and crannies and that crispiness is to let the breading, it goes through this phase where it almost looks like paste on top of the mushrooms. Okay, so the star of this dish, again, are our lion's mane mushrooms. Okay, this dish, what we're making, this is a once in a while thing. I've decided that like once a month, we're gonna do something a little, vegan gluttonous. But these mushrooms are quite pricey. So it's not something that you would fix all the time anyway, unless you're a bowler. And it's deep fried. So it's something that we want to do in moderation. But a few things that I want to tell you about lion's mane is it is incredibly good for your brain health, okay? There are 9 different points that I've come up with. It can protect against dementia, okay? It's found to keep brain plaque at bay. I didn't grow these. These were purchased here in Lutz. There is a gentleman who grows all kinds of mushrooms that I get from him, and I got those from him. But most farmers markets, you can find them. And I do believe that you can actually buy a kit, and I will be sure to share that on my page. I think Amazon, you can buy a lion's mane kit and grow it basically on your counter. Lion's mane helps relieve mild symptoms of depression and anxiety. It protects against ulcers in the digestive tract. It reduces heart disease risk. It helps manage diabetes symptoms. It helps fight cancer. It reduces inflammation and oxidative stress, and it boosts the immune system. When I tell you that eating the rainbow, and when I tell you that our master creator has provided everything we need in the earth, in fruits and vegetables and fungi, everything we need, he has provided. And we're going to take what he's provided and we're going to season it and we're going to deep fry it. Okay, so let's get started. So one of the things you need to keep in mind when you purchase your lion's mane mushroom is you need to keep in mind that you are going to be cutting it into steaks. So when you buy your lion's mane mushroom, and I did not do this, this is how I know to tell you to do this. Try to find pieces that have big, I'm trying to get past this light, big chunks, like big bulbs, so that when you cut it, it's going to stay in one piece. Because what will happen is it will break apart. Now, there's nothing wrong with having several pieces of these and piling it on your sandwich, but it gets a little messy. So keep that in mind. In addition to the lion's mane, I do have a large portobello here so we can see how that works out. But, and that's just if you have a hard time finding these, but optimally, we want to do the lion's mane because we're trying to take advantage of all the wonderful health benefits that it has. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut these. Now, you want a nice thick chunk. We're not trying to make slim little pieces. We want a nice thick chunk. We're going to be, when we bread this and we fry it, it cooks rather quickly. And we want to be able to have like a nice mouthful when we bite. So be generous with the slices. And if you all have any questions, bring them on. Okay, so if you can see, can we go to our overhead shot? Okay, so this is a big piece right here. And I'm going to cut maybe, I would say this is like probably about 2 inches deep. I probably should be using a serrated knife, but okay, so look at this. This is a nice big piece. Hey, LaFawn. And what I added later to my directions were, it should be like the size of your palm. You see that? About the size of your palm, okay? So there's one. I'm gonna cut another one here. I don't know if this is gonna stay together. Okay, great. So we've got 2. Excellent. And let's do a third one. What's so great about this dish as well is that I made some, I wanted to make sure everything was right with my recipe. Here's the third one. And you know what I'm actually going to do? I think I'm going to fry these up as well so you can see the difference between those fried immediately and those that were left to kind of to get a little dried out and the coating to turn to kind of like a paste. Okay, so we've got 4 pieces here. And then for the portobello mushroom, how we're going to prep this, all we're going to do is take out the stem. And you can just simply pull it out. The reason I like to keep these fronds in here, sometimes people take the fronds out, but especially when you're deep frying, you want to keep them. Is what a rubbery texture. The portobello? Shauna's asking if it's a rubbery texture. We want to keep these in here because the breading is going to get stuck in here, and you still can get all kinds of great crunchiness throughout here. Yes, it looks like cauliflower from here, but it's not. This is the lion's mane. No, the lion's mane is not rubbery at all. It's not rubbery at all. It's really hard to describe the texture, but what I will say is when it's finished cooking, you all will see this. It literally looks and it has the texture of like a really, my niece is here. Wouldn't you say it's like a really moist chicken breast? It's like a really moist chicken breast. So it's like a dark meat texture. So, okay, so this is ready. So I'm gonna put these aside, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna get our mixture together. And so this recipe calls for the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna do our wet batter. And in our wet batter, we're gonna start with our chickpea flour. And I need 1 cup of chickpea flour. Now, let me let you know, one of the great things about cooking with chickpea flour is that you are adding, here's a cup here. And it's always good to make a little more than you need because, you know, a lot of times when you're breading things, it sops up a lot. So it's always good to add a little more. Okay. And we're gonna do, all of our seasonings are gonna go in here. Our black pepper, our garlic powder, our onion powder, some sweet paprika. We've got a little bit of salt here. We're gonna add in our hot sauce. And the star hot sauce we're using is Frank's Red Hot. You can get this anywhere. And then we're gonna add our plant milk. Now, you can use soy milk, you can use oat milk, is actually my favorite milk to use. Of course, you want it unflavored. And so I'm just gonna pour this in here and we're gonna mix until it gets almost to the texture of like a pancake batter. So depending on the milk you use, you may need a little more, you may need a little less, but my suggestion is to gradually add it. Don't just dump the whole thing in there. And the reason that this batter is so seasoned is because this is what's going to cling to the mushroom. It's going to give the mushroom flavor. So I'm going to add a little more milk. So I've pretty much used my 1 cup. And as I said, soy milk is fine. I would not use rice milk. It might be a little too thin. Optimally, I think the best thing to use would be oat milk. And those of you who have not tried oat milk, oh my goodness, oat milk is delicious. To me, it reminds me of the richness and the thickness of whole milk. Okay, so that is done. Now we're gonna go over to our dry mixture. And in our dry mixture, we have a 1/2 cup of flour. Now you can forego flour. If you're trying to be gluten-free, you don't have to use regular flour. But I'm using regular flour in this one. But know that you don't have to. And just a little extra for good measure. Okay, we're gonna use a 1/4 cup of cornstarch. Cornstarch is great to add because it definitely makes sure that whatever you're fixing is gonna be crispy. And finally, we're gonna use a cup of chickpea flour. Now, again, you could just use, instead of using a 1/2 cup of flour and a cup of chickpea, you could use 1.5 cups of chickpea. The great thing about using chickpea flour is that you're adding even more protein into your dish. A lot of people are always paranoid about not getting enough protein. I don't know what that is. People that are non-vegans always say to vegans, where do you get your protein? I don't know what that's about, but they're obsessed with it. And I've never known somebody to have a protein deficiency. But anyway, okay, so now we've got this together. So all that is left to do is to bread these babies. Now, if you want something super crispy, the thing to do is to go into the wet mixture, go into the dry mixture, go back into the wet and into the dry. So if you really want to swing for the fences, you can do that. So let's just make some space. We're going to take this one. We're going to press it down in the mixture. This is kind of messy. We're going to go on the sides of it. Ooh, time is going by quickly. Now I'm going to put it in here. So the other ones I've battered them twice, but these, just for an interest of time, I'm just going to do it one time. And so this is what it's going to look like when it's done. And this is about 2 inches thick and maybe about 3 inches wide. I have rings tonight to help brighten up the set, and I think it's kind of distorting a little bit of what I'm doing. So that's one. Let's go do another one. Then we put it in the flour. I'm telling you, this is so delicious. So delicious. And then we'll do this one. And then I'm going to do that portobello mushroom so you all can see how that turns out. Get this all over. Okay. Oops, that fell apart. That's okay. These are also great as nuggets, so that's fine. And then finally, we're going to do the portobello mushroom. Actually, let me rinse my hands a little bit. Okay, and we talked about those nooks and crannies, so we want to get that. We want to get that wet batter all inside here and on the outside. Okay, then we're going to put it in our flour mixture. This is going to be a big boy right here. Okay, so we've got that done. So that is, so what I'm going to do now, we're going to take a little break, and when we come back, I'm going to show you what it looks like after it's rested for about 30 minutes. You can let it rest for 30 minutes on your counter, or you can put it in a refrigerator. That makes it go a little faster, up to an hour. But we're going to take a little break, and when we come back, we'll show you what it looks like after it's rested for about 30 minutes.
Hi, it's C.C., foodie, media contributor, and plant-based chef. Cooking is my love language, and every dish I cook is a love letter to the African diaspora and the world of food. As a chef, I have cooked for celebrities, professional athletes, and media executives. I have been featured domestically and internationally on The Today Show and on Ghana's #1 morning show, New Day. I've traveled the world researching plant-based foods and their inclusion in local diets. My passion is cooking, talking about, and exposing others to plant-based cooking through the lens of Africa and all the cultures that have come from it. I like to say that I cook incredibly delicious food that just so happens to be good for you. I would love to bring you along as I take a plant-based journey through the African diaspora and the world of food. Won't you join me?
Oh my God, that is unreal.
Isn't that good?
That is unreal.
Oh my God, isn't that wonderful?
That is unreal.
And it's totally healthy.
Okay, we're back. So let's see if I can straighten this up a little bit to change positions because we're going to be looking at the fryer. Can we switch to the overhead so I can make sure that, great, excellent, excellent. So I showed you what they look like. This is what the mushrooms look like when they're freshly done. And this is after about 30 minutes or so. See how it looks kind of pasty? Okay. And what's great about that, or what the reason we want to work towards that, is because that's what's going to really give us great crispiness on our sandwich. So now I've got a deep fryer. You don't have to have a deep fryer. You can use a deep frying pan. You can use a cast iron skillet. The main point is you need to make sure you have enough oil to fry it. Yeah, those are great. All right, so now we're going to see how this works. So I'm going to drop this one in there in our hot grease. And this should not take more than, I would say, 5 minutes. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in one of those fresh ones, freshly battered ones, along with one of the ones that was in there for 30 minutes so we can see if there truly is a difference. And then after these are done, we're going to do the portobello mushroom. We may go a little longer tonight. I hope you all have a little extra time. Does anybody have any questions about lion's mane mushrooms, transitioning to a vegan lifestyle? I don't know, any questions, anything at all? I think this is our 5th week now. Which oil do you suggest? Okay, so actually the best oil to use, I'm gonna need 2 of them actually, is grapeseed oil. Any kind of vegetable oil is fine. You absolutely cannot, I don't need it yet, baby, thank you, just right there. Any type of oil other than like an olive oil. There are a lot of oils, like a peanut oil is really great for frying at high temperatures. Oh, this is frying up beautifully. They're both frying up beautifully. So if you have the extra time to let it, sit in the refrigerator, do that. But if you don't, you can fry it up pretty quickly. What I'm going to do is, if you could put those buns on that board, that would be great. So these are frying up beautifully. I would say this needs no more than 5 minutes. You could fry it a little longer if you want it to not be as juicy. One of the great things about this as well is, even as it's cooled down, while it may not be as crispy, it's still delicious. It's still delicious. My niece came in last night and she just ate the lion's mane on its own, and it was delicious. My husband had it a little later with some pasta, and he loved it. So this is, once you all try this recipe, optimally, it's amazeballs on bread. But you can use this like you would have a piece of chicken. You can literally serve it like you would a piece of chicken, a piece of fried chicken. If you usually did it with cabbage, or if you did fried chicken with, macaroni and cheese, I've got a great vegan macaroni and cheese recipe I'm going to share with you. You can have your soul food without a whole bunch of processed preservatives. Now, let me show you the bread. This is a great bread to use. This is Arnold's potato. And the reason I chose this one is because it didn't have any kind of, I don't know if you can see this, it didn't have any kind of milk or anything like that, milk or eggs in it. So it's really great. And what we've done is this, we just grilled that up on the grill. And so I want you all, this mushroom is just about done. Ooh, it's popping. Okay. All right. I want you all to see how this thing has fried up. No gluten, no soy, pure Mother Earth. Look at that. Can we get the forward shot of this? This is a mushroom steak for ya. Okay? This is gonna go on our sandwich. So that's one. That was the one that was battered for like, 30, 40 minutes. And this is the one that was just done and then immediately fried. So it's pretty, I would say it's pretty equivalent. Now we're gonna do the portobello mushroom. Let's see how this turns out. I'm gonna drop that in the oil. Portobello, of course, is much easier to get a hold of, so that's why I wanted to offer that as an option. But while that is frying, we are going to get started with putting our Popeye's cracked chicken, bust somebody in the head because they're ahead of you in line and you've been waiting all day to try this sandwich. Okay, so you can add even more spice to this sauce if you want to. You can make a drizzle if you want to go over this sandwich, but we're gonna keep this really simple because it is literally, it's so well seasoned. We're just gonna take some VEGANIZED, and if you see this, I grilled my bun with just a little bit of earth balance. Just a little bit. And it's almost 10:30 at night here, but trust, I will be eating the sandwich. And again, if you want to add a little spice to this, you can always add some. Let's see how this mushroom is coming out. Looks like it's done. And you know it's finished frying when you stop hearing that popping frying sound. So this is coming out. Oh, let's show you what this looks like. This is the portobello. Can we get a front shot of that? This is the portobello. Boy, this light is really making things difficult. Can you all see it? Can you see this mushroom? Okay. That really looks good. And while I'm here, I'm just gonna fry up a few more of these so that when my niece wants to come down at night and eat, there's some that are available. Okay, so now let's get back to plating. So we've got this here. The next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna put some pickles on it. Now, I'm not a big pickle person, and when I told my niece that I was recreating the sandwich, she told me that there were pickles on it, and she pointed me to the exact pickles that it needed. And the interesting thing is, when I put them on there, I got it. It's great. So we're just gonna put some pickles here. And then the star of the show. Whew, this is cooled down a little bit. Look at this. Look at this. We're just gonna put this right on top of those pickles. Right on top of those pickles. So I want you all to get a look. I want you all to get a look at these sandwiches. Look at that. Look at how thick that mushroom is on there. That's a meal. See, when people say that you eat plants, no, the potato bread is not gluten-free. It is not gluten-free. When people tell you that, oh, you're going to be hungry if I eat plants, I'm not going to be full. Do you honestly think you're going to eat the sandwich and not be full? Mm-hmm. And the great thing about eating plant-based meals, eating the rainbow, eating from the earth, your body takes what it needs from this and it gets rid of it. It gets rid of what it doesn't need. You get all the nutrient density you need, and then the leftovers, they leave you. So let me just check these mushrooms over here. It does look good. I'm telling you, Paul, it's delicious. Like last night, I cut it open. Can you give me a really sharp knife, Brax? And I was so greedy. I was doing the while I was eating it because I didn't. And use a straight knife, like that purple one. So now I'm going to put the bun on top of this, and I'm going to cut it so you all can get an idea. Thank you, of what this looks like inside. Well, you know what? We're going to try the portobello. We're going to try the portobello, but right now I'm cutting through this lion's mane. Woo-wee! And it's piping hot. You all tell me that this does not look like chicken. Can you see that? It's smoking. I kind of want to get rid of these lights. Can you see that? Can you see that overhead? Let's look at the overhead. I think that's better. Look at that. It's so beautiful. It literally looks like dark meat. And it's a nice, thick, healthy sandwich. All you need, if you're swinging for the fences or batting for the fences, air fry some French fries with this, and you're good. Okay, so I am going to have my niece try this because last night she had it, but she didn't have it with the pickles and the bun and everything. So I'm gonna have Braxton come over on screen and take a bite of this sandwich and tell me what you think. Can we do a straight on? And I'm gonna do a straight on as well. Oh my goodness. This is like a mouthful. It's a total mouthful.
Oh my goodness. It tastes like the Popeye one.
This is so good. My husband's in the background. Come on. He said he didn't want to be on camera.
You need to try it.
This is amazing. You all have to make this. You have to make it. You have to make it. I'm taking 2 more steaks out. See, he's trying to be shy right now, but trust, once the camera shuts off, he's going to be skulking around. Come on, babe. Here, there's one ready for you. Come on. Come on, Bernard. So he's coming on. Just take a bite of the sandwich. So everyone, in camera. Don't want to see your reaction. It's juicy too. You see that?
Real good.
Real good. So everyone, this is the veganized version of Popeye's chicken sandwich.
Really good.
We've got a really nice spicy batter on it, a really great dry batter on it that is made of chickpea flour and cornstarch. So it's super, you've got protein in here. You've got flavor. It's just amazing. It's amazing. And I am looking forward to you all trying this recipe and letting me know what you think. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for reclaiming your health. Thank you for making better decisions about your health. And thank you for allowing me to take you on a journey.